1 minute till 9 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Waldrop. Welcome to Kingdom Acres. Today I am making sauerkraut. Happy St. Patty's Day. So normally I'm in my kitchen if I'm cooking, but this is a simple project and I didn't feel like cleaning my kitchen to make it company ready so y'all could join me in my kitchen. So here we are in my workspace. The last live I did, I went live on Saturday for the Craft Around the Clock marathon event. So if you missed that, please go ahead and catch that replay. Good morning, Irma. And if you're not in the Craft Around the Clock group, please go and join that group. It is amazing. They have crafters every 45 minutes. There's a new crafter all week long. I think they start about 7 and it goes till about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Like, you can be watching crafters all throughout your day whenever you want. It's amazing. So yes, I'll be showing you how to make true sauerkraut, which is a fermented cabbage dish. The stuff you buy in the store is actually pickled cabbage, which that is a way to make a sauerkraut, but that's not what we're doing here. The true fermented sauerkraut is amazing for gut health and overall, nutrition, getting those probiotics in there. It's so beneficial to your immune system and your mental health because of the gut-brain connection. So it's a wonderful dish to have year-round and so beneficial to you. I will also be showing you not to throw your little core away here because I'm going to show you how to go ahead and root that core. So I'm just going to get started cutting here. Now I'm going to cut it, but I should have taken off the top layers first. So I'm getting ahead of myself. We cut it up into small pieces, but we want to keep at least a few layers of just flat pieces because you don't want any of your cut pieces to be floating above the brine because they will mold. So you want to just pull off several of these big sheets of cabbage to put on the top under your weights. That way there's no pieces floating above. And if you do get pieces floating above, it's not the end of the world. Just wipe them away and the rest of your sauerkraut should be fine. I just want to make sure that we have enough to cover. This is the crock that I'm using today. Sometimes I'll just go ahead and use a mason jar. Good morning, Jenny. I love you too. A lot of times I'll just use a mason jar, but I bought this crock specifically for sauerkraut. It's a 2-gallon a 2-gallon kraut, and it came with these really fantastic weights. It came with 2 of these to hold everything down. And so I love it, and I think that it looks great, primitive. It goes with my decor. And I use my mason jars so much for everyday life that it's nice when I have something different. So I'm not like occupying so many of my jars. So, okay. So I'm cutting my cabbage and I'm just trying to preserve this area of core. And so I'm going to cut away as best I can without injuring my core here. That's what I've got so far. Let's see. Got a little jar over here that I'm going to be sticking this in, and it's going to need to be able to fit down in there somewhat. I might need a bigger jar. I'm just going to try to shave this, shave it down. I hope everybody's doing good today. Oh, good morning, Akila. I love you, buddy. All right, so I just have this little salsa jar. You could use a pickle jar, you could use whatever you want. And I just put tap water in here. I washed it out really good, put tap water in here. And I want it to be really form-fitting because I'm not sticking this all the way down in there. I'm just putting it into where the edge of the core barely touches the water, so that it'll take root. Okay, so it's barely touching the water now. Now I'm gonna stick this in my window, and in my windowsill, and you know, let it just do its thing, and it'll take root. And I will plant this in my garden once it gets the little root fingers going on it. And I usually do that. I'll do usually 4 or 5 in a season, and then whenever I feel like having cabbage and eggs, or you know, just adding a little bit of cabbage to something and I don't need a whole head, I'll just go out and trim the cabbage leaves off, cut them up, throw them in my dish, and it is a great money saver. So these pieces right here that I trimmed off, going right into the crock. I'm not gonna bother chopping them down anymore because they are a good size. So I'm just gonna chop these and toss them right on in. I love sauerkraut so much. I do buy it often at the store. And I will go through sauerkraut on my own, like quite a bit. Just me eating it on my salads, on my soups, on my scrambled eggs, on like basically anything, sandwiches. I love pickled foods, so the stuff that you get from the store that's pickled, I'll eat it. I love it. So good. And that vinegar is also good for your gut health. It's going to help you break down some stuff, some of those fats in your food, get those enzymes going in your digestive tract. So, you know, both ways are really good for your digestive system, but you cannot beat the probiotics in sauerkraut, in the fermented sauerkraut. So I'm just cutting it into slices and getting the pieces going. Let me put some of this in here so I don't make too much of a mess with this stuff flying everywhere. Ah, I'm making you hungry? Oh goodness. I should have probably eaten. I usually eat before I do my lives, and this morning I was just wanting to really be out in my garden. You know, that quiet time first thing when everything is still, you know, dewy, and you just get to have like your time with the Lord outside in the calm air, and all this beautiful life taking root, seed sprouting. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how great God is. And when it's early spring, you can really see the beauty of how He created life. The tiniest seed can make these enormous trees and plants and things. And all it takes is just the one tiny seed to be planted and nurtured, and it can just take root. And I'm trying not to cry today. I need to stop talking about that because I'll just burst into tears. Can regrow. Yes, you can regrow all types of food. Yes, and that's another God thing, you know. God created our world where life wants to happen. He wants life, right? And so he wants us to live these beautiful lives with the seeds that he's planted within us. And I just love it so much. It's just so beautiful. God's so good. Fix my lampshade. Hush, sir. My husband's being silly. So, my lamp right here, it's a little big for this area, and the lampshade is even bigger than the lamp. And so in order to keep my lamp from falling off my little ledge here, we have to have this lampshade a little crooked. And I know that bothers the pickles out of some people. It doesn't really bother me so much, probably just because I know the purpose behind it. A lot of times things like that probably would distract me a little bit, but there is purpose for that. And we have to have a lamp here because otherwise this corner in my living room is just so dark. I have to have it there. So yeah. So sorry if that bothers you, but it's just one of those things. Now, when you're making sauerkraut, traditionally it's just cabbage. But if you wanted to add onions to this or jalapenos or things like that and give it a little bit of pizzazz, you absolutely can do that. And I come from the school of eyeballing it, so I'm just, that was too much. Too much. That came out really fast. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time, and I'm just gonna put the rest right there. Okay, so a little bit of salt. This is Redmond's real salt. I am not sponsored by them. It's just what I use. It doesn't have any additives or anything like that. And I'm just gonna start. This is called pounding kraut, okay? This is just a rolling pin. I don't have like fancy equipment for making sauerkraut. I just use my regular old rolling pin, and I just go to town with it. And, you can use your hands if you don't have a rolling pin, and just kind of grab it and squeeze it, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to activate all those juices in the cabbage. We're trying to draw that out and activate it, and that salt is also going to help draw out the juices, and it's also going to help with the fermentation process. So it's pretty cool. Now, if you're concerned about how well your cabbage is going to ferment, you can add a prebiotic to this. A prebiotic is something that feeds your probiotics, okay? So once all of this is done, you can blend up like a green apple if you want. Make sure it's organic so it doesn't have things that's going to like kill off the good bacteria in your probiotics, or yeah, in your fermentation, the probiotics in your fermentation. But you can just blend it up with a little bit of water, even just like half an apple, and throw it in here, and it does not change the flavor at all. I don't always do that. I do sometimes if I have a green apple handy, but I don't always do that. I don't have a green apple handy today, and I don't have my blender handy right here. in my little crafting corner, so I'm not doing that today. But you could if you wanted to, just to kind of help it along. And the great thing about sauerkraut is that you can make this, and if you're using a crock like this, it's a set it and forget it kind of thing. Not for very long though. You want to check it, start checking the flavor of it after about 3 days, because you don't want to get it to where it's so strong that you don't like the flavor of it. Okay. So, and I just keep on going with this. You can get your hands in there. I've done like 3 or 4 heads of cabbage in this one crock before, and I just mixed it, you know, pounded it in different vessels and then added it all to this one, because this crock is already down quite a bit from when I started pounding it. Let's see, it was about to right there when everything was first chopped, so it's already gone down quite a bit. And anyways, when I did like the 4 heads of cabbage, we did it in several different vessels. We pounded in several different vessels and then added it to this. And at that point, I employed my children to help me. I was like, y'all get over here and help mom with the sauerkraut. They're like, I don't eat sauerkraut. I'm like, I don't care. Get over here and help your mama. So they did. And they took turns and everything, because this can be a arm workout. And what I'm looking for here is for it to produce the juices from the cabbage. And you're going to see that this is going to produce enough of its own juices that the juice will actually come up over the cabbage. So I'm just going to keep pounding this until it gets good and juicy for us. I'm going to stick my hand in and pull up the stuff from the corners, because stuff will get stuck down here in that little, in the corners around the bottom. And I'm wanting to make sure I get the juices from all of it. All right, here we go. I'm just pounding away. So this weekend, we had my niece's wedding shower. I told y'all all about that on my live on Saturday, that I was fixing to head to that. And it turned out so beautiful. So beautiful. And it was so much fun. And she was beautiful. She had on a purple and white floral dress and a beautiful purple bow in her hair. And she just looked so sweet and precious. I just love her so much. And then we went to Galveston, and afterwards we had the bachelorette party, and so we went to Galveston and went to Putt Putt, and then we went, we had a couple of hotel rooms that were joint in Lake Jackson, closer to home, and we went back there, and we got there and I put my pajamas on and I went to bed. I just immediately went to bed, and everybody else stayed up and played. My 9-year-old and her best friend kept prank calling each other from room to room, and I could hear everybody laughing and, you know, having a great time. And I felt bad that I wasn't more of a party person for that, you know, watching movies and laughing and joking and stuff. But I was exhausted. I'm exhausted. So sometimes I just have to listen to my body. When it says take care, I have to take care. If we don't have a crock like that, yes. So you can pound your cabbage in just a regular mixing bowl and then do it in mason jars. I do like to use mason jars sometimes, especially if I'm only doing like half a head of cabbage. But you can use any container that has a lid. If you're using a mason jar though, you just want to make sure that you're going to burp it at least once a day, and you're just basically going to go open it and you're going to hear that sound, and then you'll close it right back. You don't want to fully open it unless you're doing it real quick just to taste the juice and see if it's where you like it. What's the overall time frame? So about 3 days is when you want to start checking it. Usually 7 to 10 days is about the max. But it's really dependent on your fermentation tolerance and your preference. So you're gonna want to definitely be checking every day at about the 3-day mark and just see, because some people just don't like it too tangy, and some people can drink kombucha that's been sitting on the counter without any, fruit or anything in it, and it's been sitting there for a year, and they're like, wow, this is delicious. I'm like, that's like almost like straight acid right there you're drinking. So it just depends on your fermentation tolerance. But 7 to 10 days is usually about the max for me anyways. 5 days might be good. Probably a good middle ground if you're kind of moderate tolerance to the sauerkraut or to fermentation flavors. And you're just gonna see that this is just getting wetter and wetter in there, and it starts to take on more of a green color to it. I know that cabbage is already green, but it gets greener as you're pounding it because all that juice is coming out of it. And I'm just gonna put a little bit more of this salt that I got out. Again, this is the Redmond's real salt. And just make sure that whatever salt you're using, it does not have additives. So you could use like the canning salt, like the pickling salt, because it doesn't have any anti-caking agents in it that would mess with your fermentation. And I've tried just using regular salt, and it didn't work out. Like, it fermented, but the flavor and it was just off. Is the recipe hard to mess up? No, it's super duper easy. Literally 2 ingredients, 3 if you want to add the blended up green apple as a prebiotic for your probiotics, but you really don't have to do that. That's optional. So no, this is super easy. You're literally just pounding it down. It's really, more about the process, pounding it down, making sure you bring, you pound it enough to where that liquid line is above the cabbage. But also, remember, you are going to have your cabbage leaves that we preserved, the bigger cabbage leaves that we saved out to push everything down, and the weights to go on top of it to keep everything submerged under the liquid line, under your kraut juice. Just gonna keep on. And this is really good for your muscles, your shoulder muscles, your arm muscles. Gotta change arms so you don't get super toned on one side and not on the other. It's your morning workout routine and good nutrition. See? And a fun activity for St. Patty's Day, I think. So you could go today and get yourself a cabbage. I went last night and the cabbages were wiped out. Everybody's having cabbage today. But there were still a few left, but they were low in supplies there. And no, this is a very easy recipe. Okay, and we're going, and we're going. And I'm gonna see if I can kind of move this around a little bit. It kind of helps. I have this big old 18-inch spoon that I got from Ross. And if I just go double time, I'll go a little bit faster. But yeah, that salt really helps the kraut develop those juices. It pulls it out. And having the spoon is great because then you can push down all those little bits that like to make their way up the sides of the walls of your crock. But yes, I love having this crock, but you don't have to have a crock like this. You can use a mason jar. You can use like an old pickle jar, an Alfredo sauce jar, whatever you've got on hand. You just want to make sure that you put something in there to keep everything pushed down below the line. Let's see, if you're using a mason jar like this, the little jelly jars fit inside this. So if you have your kraut in here, you can put your lettuce leaf on top and then put the jelly jar on top of that, and it works great as a weight because once you put that lid on, it pushes down on the jelly jar and it keeps everything submerged below that that juice line. And this is it. You can get your toddlers involved, your kids involved, your teenagers reluctantly involved because they can't mess up doing this back and forth in a crock or a bowl. If you're doing it in a mason jar, you know, just always be careful of the glass. But I like to, when I'm using the mason jars, I like to pound it in a pot or a pan, or you know, a mixing bowl, like a ceramic mixing bowl usually, because I just use these wooden utensils, and then I fill my jars and I push it down in there with my hand, or like a potato masher, something like that, that will get everything pushed down real good below that juice line. And then I just cover it with the big leaf and then the weight, and you're good to go. And you just want to make sure that if you're using that mason jar, please burp it every day. Where did I get my crock? Oh goodness, I ordered it from, I don't think it was Amazon. I think I ordered it from a website. I'll have to look, but if you just Google like sauerkraut crock, you should be able to find it on the internet. Thank you, Irma. You're so sweet. Yeah, I love it. I think it was like $80 for this crock. It was a birthday present to myself that year. Like, my husband is so great about buying me presents for birthdays, holidays, all the days. And then I'm still like, thanks, sweetie. I'm still buying myself this. He's so gracious to me, even though I can be a stinker. Yes. Yes, I can. Because I like having my little silly things. But this Christmas, he knows that I like the silly things. So like, he got me this pack of these really cool spoons. There was like a maple leaf, this kind of leaf, a heart, just like different shapes, and they're all wooden and primitive looking like that, woodsy and cool. And so I brought it to the table just in case I needed it, but I don't think I'm going to need it, because normally I try to pretend that I'm a little bit like restaurant type hygienic when I'm doing stuff like on camera. And so I was like, I'll use this to put my salt on, but it's just habit. I just put it in my hand and sprinkle it in. I'm the only one that eats sauerkraut in my house, and anybody who I share it with, it's usually like a super close friend or family. So I'm like, they don't care if I touch the salt with my clean washed hand. If I were making this for like to sell at a farmer's market, I would definitely be wearing gloves and a hairnet, or, you know, having my hair back with a cap, and doing this in my kitchen, in my clean kitchen, not at my craft corner area that I've been working at. As soon as we get a Wi-Fi extender thing, I'll probably start doing my lives in my back room, because this table is actually my dining table. And so it's in a very communal area. The kids eat back here behind my camera. Like, there's books and there's cups and there's different things for my kids. You know, living life, just living life. They do schoolwork here. They eat their ramen here, or whatever it is, whatever thing that they've made themselves, they like to eat. And or dinner, I'll clear off the table and we'll have a nice family dinner here. When people come over, everyone sits at this table and we play games. We, you know, just have a good time. So this is our communal table, and I love it. But it would be nice to not have to take my my craft stuff back and forth to my craft room, and then back out here, and then back in there, and then back out there. So sometimes I don't. Sometimes it'll just stay here all week long, because if I've got a busy day ahead of me, I'll just leave my stuff and run out the door. It's just real life, y'all. I gotta remember to use my left arm for this. My arm's getting tired. It is a lot of work to do this by hand, which is why I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I'll just do the pickled cabbage from the store, or I'll just, you know, can myself some cabbage with the vinegar and water bath can it and get it on the shelf. Because this, you're not going to can it. Putting it in a jar, it obviously is not the same as canning, because with canning you're putting things under heat. I would not can this, because the whole point of canning is to kill off any bacteria in your food. And probiotics are a type of bacteria, living organism stuff. You know, there's different types of stuff in there, and the good bacteria is what we're looking for, right? We don't want to kill those off, but canning it would kill it off. So you're going to do this, and you're going to put it into your containers, whatever you're wanting to store it in, and put it in your refrigerator to stop the fermentation process after that 7 to 10 days, or 5 if you don't want it too tangy. And then let me just show you where we're at right now. It's getting, I should have brought over like a, there we go, you can see a little bit with the light. I should have brought a flashlight in here. Look at how like low that's getting though. Like I could definitely fit 4 or 5 more cabbages in here in this crock. Back towards me a little bit. What are we making? We're making sauerkraut, Jenny. just green cabbage with my Redmond's real salt. Not sponsored, it's just what I'm using. And I cut it up. I put my little core in water to make it, to get it rooting so I can put it out in my garden and have more cabbage leaves to add to things. And getting the good probiotics going in here from the cabbage, trying to get all these juices out so that we can, what else do I use the crock for? Okay, so this isn't just for sauerkraut. This can be used for anything. You could put flour in this if you wanted to and just keep it as a cute little crock for flour. But you can do pickles in this if you're doing the original style fermented pickles. I have a ton of cucumber plants coming up right now. I think I've counted 23 so far, 24. And coming up in my garden. So we are going to have pickles coming out our ears. And so I'm looking forward to fermenting pickles in this. You can ferment anything really in this, any vegetables. Again, jalapenos, carrots, onions. You can do a vegetable medley in here and ferment it. Put your you can use cabbage leaves to submerge everything. Put your weights over it, or you can just use unbleached parchment paper. Did you see that little piece of cabbage go flying across my living room? Yes, fresh pickles. So good. I love pickles. Oh my goodness. In my family, I'm like my mouth is starting to water because I'm just standing here smelling this. But in my family, we go through pickles like nobody's business. We eat so many pickles. So I am excited for pickle season coming up. I'm just praying that my pickles don't come in at the same time, or my cucumbers don't come in at the same time as my tomatoes, because I also have 23 tomato plants going, and I'm just like, if I have all these tomatoes at the same time as I have my cucumbers, I'm going to have a very busy few days. I might have to get or borrow a roaster or something to make like marinara and things, and just have different slow going processes so that I can move at the rate that I need to move at with these things. But I'm excited to have a big harvest this year. We expanded quite a bit. My daughter works at a barbecue restaurant, and they get their pickles in 5-gallon buckets. And so she brings me those food grade 5-gallon buckets. So I put a ton of stuff in buckets this year for my garden, because why not, right? I just drilled holes in the bottom of them and filled them with, soil and shavings from the horses and stuff, just to kind of help it with holding moisture, because in the depths of summer, it's hard to keep our plants good and watered. So all this green is coming up good. Just trying to, you got this, making, oh, I do got this, I know I do, but I have like an army of family members, right, that'll help me. And so I'm not too afraid of it. I know I have help. All I have to do is ask. You're not lazy. You're growing a human being. That's different. Being tired is not being lazy. I tell you that. Oh, good morning, Love It's Garden. Oh, thank you for joining us. We're going to have a drought this year? Oh, no, I don't want to hear that. It means I'm gonna have to be out there watering in 100-degree weather at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I can talk my husband into putting in a drip system for me. Wouldn't that be amazing? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Mr. Waldrop, if you're watching this. I'll be needing it. So if you're just joining us, we're making sauerkraut. Happy St. Patty's Day, right? We're doing the original version where it's fermented. And I was telling everybody I love me some sauerkraut. There are two types. There's the pickled version that you get at the grocery store. It's made with vinegar. And then there's the kind that just has salt and cabbage, and you just beat the pickles out of it until it makes its own juices. And you just keep on going, and it is just so good for you. Getting a rain barrel, yes. I have one, and it has a spigot on it. And we tried to use it. We got it all ready. We just like filled it up with water right before the hurricane last summer in July. Barrel, I think it was Hurricane Barrel. And when we went to use it for our chickens, because we're out in the county and we have our own well, so if we don't have power, we don't have water running. So that was a big concern for us, right? So we filled that up before the hurricane came, and then when it came down to it, that system didn't work, and I'm not really sure why. We had it kind of up so that gravity would take hold on that spigot. I'm thinking that maybe algae built up over time, so I'm gonna have to probably treat that or do something. This is just going, and you can see how wet it is in there, how wet it's gotten. Look at that cabbage. Ooh, Japanese wisteria. Oh, I love wisteria. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I've tried to get wisteria to grow on my property. I've only tried once though. Usually I'm a person that has to make plenty of mistakes before I get it right. So I've only tried it once. I've got probably a couple more tries in me before I actually get a wisteria to grow on my property. But a storage tank might work great, Jenny, for like water storage or something. Yeah, it's true. But didn't we have, well, I know we had hurricanes, but for the most part, we had dry weather last year, right? Or was that the year before? One of the summers, like the ground was like cracking open so bad because we've got that clay, that gumbo over here south of Houston, and it was so bad, so bad. I know I lost a lot of plants that year that were supposed to be keeping strong. My asparagus has done great though. Even with me neglecting it during the summer, it has survived all that neglect. So I've been babying it the past few weeks, watering it good and everything, and fertilized, did all that stuff, because with asparagus you just want to throw like horse and cow manure like right in the bed with it, because it sucks so many nutrients out of the soil. And so I've just been doing that, and my asparagus is going gangbusters right now. I'm so excited. It was like it was Saturday morning. I was making myself breakfast, and my husband comes in and he was like, "Where did you get asparagus from?" I didn't buy asparagus because he had gone shopping. I was like, "I got it from our garden." And he was like, "You're kidding me," because it's only been producing a little bit, because I've been neglecting it. And so I fertilized it, been watering it good, and man, it is happy, and I'm happy because I love asparagus. And you can pickle asparagus too, or ferment it, whatever you want to do with that. But I'm really hoping we do not have a drought this summer. I just want like moderate rain, okay? I don't want to be up to my knees in mud going out to like mess with the horses or try to, you know, water my garden or not water my garden, but like, you know, harvest from my garden or weed or do any of that stuff. But I also don't want to go outside and turn into a reptile in 5 minutes, because I do. We went to New Mexico, where I'm from, last month, and once we got to the other side of San Antonio, I could just like take a nail and scratch my arm, and you could see the chalk line on my arm because I was just immediately turning into a lizard. And it was just, we got there, and Seth's cousin Jenny, my sweetest and dear old friend, we were sitting there. She's like, "What do you need? You look miserable." I'm like, "I need moisture." And she's like, "You need like lotion?" I was like, "Do you have lotion for the inside? Because I'm just like dry inside, outside, everywhere." She's like, "I have water." You want water? I was like, ugh. A little dramatic. I was very dramatic. I can be like that sometimes though. It's fine. Everything's fine. You can hear all that good fluid movement. Okay, I can still see I've got some pieces that have like a thicker part that haven't felt the weight of being pounded yet. So I'm still moving along, getting this thing going. But this is literally all it takes. If you have children, put them to work. Put them to work. If you have a kraut pounder, it literally looks like this. A kraut pounder looks like this. So I would just, I mean, I have a small kitchen, so I'm not going to buy a pounder, you know, when I have a rolling pin that'll do the same job. And this big ol' mixing spoon, stirring spoon, whatever it is, cooking spoon, it's going back and forth. So anyways, I had my live on Saturday and it was so much fun, but I have to tell you guys what happened, okay? Because if you go back and watch the video and look at all the comments, you're gonna be like, yeah, we really can't see that well what she's doing, and she doesn't look how she normally does on camera, because normally this is the frame, right? Like, and you're not so far back. So my segment for Craft Around the Clock was at noon, and I had just a few minutes before I was needing to be live, and I had already tested my setup several times because I was like, okay, I'm doing this, you know, for a group and everything. I want to make sure everything's gonna work great, because a few weeks ago I'd been on for like 20 minutes and nobody could hear me. So I just wanted to be sure that nothing was malfunctioning, right? And so I tested it, everything was great, and it's time for me to like go mode, right? And so I put my phone on the tripod and the arm does this, goes straight down to the table, and I was like, what happened? And I'm trying to fiddle with the thing and it's not working, and I'm panicking. Everybody had left to go to the shower except for my son, and he couldn't hear me yelling. And so I had to just like put the thing all the way up and move it as far back as I could so that people could kind of see me, but my table doesn't go on and on. It's just, you know, it's a regular, like it's like a square table, not even a rectangle. So, so it was an issue. It was an issue. People could see like very little of what I was doing. And I was just like, oh man. But what can you do? Sometimes, you know, the best laid plans, sometimes things just happen, right? And so technology, whatever, it'll malfunction when you need it to the very least. And today my tripod's working fine. My son came out here and he showed me an extra little piece that had come loose, but I was thinking that it had broke or something, which reminds me, I'm going to add zip ties and duct tape to my craft cart, because if it does, in the event that it does, I can just zip tie something, duct tape it, and, you know, get it to go, because goodness me. And the project itself turned out beautiful. I'm very happy with it. But the video, I'm like, oh man, you can barely see what I'm doing. Gosh golly. Well, that's all right, I suppose. Not everything can be perfect all the time. I try my best, but you can only do what you can do sometimes, right? If only it had done that prior, you know, in the 3 times that I had messed with it before, when I was testing it and needing it to do whatever it was going to do so I could troubleshoot anything that could go wrong. Nope. Nope. And it's just getting wetter and wetter. Okay, so I'm going to put these down for a minute. Okay, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take my fist and I'm just pushing it down. I'm going to get all that juice to come up over the kraut. Okay, let's push it as hard as you can. I'm up on my tiptoes right now, so I can really use my body weight to get over it. And I'm seeing it come up. I can feel it hitting my fingers. Let's see. Arabella or Lily or somebody. Emma? A child? I want to see if they'll push my tripod forward a bit so that y'all can see down in this. Because I want you to see. Let me see, maybe I can just reach it. Let's see here. When you are the tech team, you just gotta do what you can do. Give me just a second. Let's see here. Let me move y'all forward a bit. Okay, get y'all good and close. Okay, now I'm gonna try to move this down without having anything fall or break. Okay, and I don't know how well y'all can see that. Don't have the best lighting for this. Let's see. If I could get a child to come out, they can bring me a light and y'all can see in here. But I'm hoping y'all can at least hear the squishiness of it. Girls? Okay, can you bring me a light? Okay, somebody's gonna bring me a light so y'all can see, because this is working beautifully. And you can also see how much it crunches down in there, and you'll be able to fit so many more heads of cabbage if you want that many. If you don't want a crock this big, the smaller ones will probably work just as well for if you're only doing like a head of cabbage at a time. So I'm just going to town here, crunch, crunch, crunching. Emma? Let's see here. See if y'all can see how, you can see how wet my hand is just from crunching that down. Can you please bring me a flashlight? Quickly, quickly, run, 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 like the wind, tiny human. Oh, goodness. So, working, 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 pushing, 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 pushing it all down. Okay, good. Is the flashlight gonna work? Did you test it? Yeah. Okay. How do I turn? Okay. Here we go. Oh, whoops. Pushed it again. Okay. That, you can see the juices glistening and coming on up around my hand quite a bit. It's bubbling good. Let me bring you just a little bit closer. Hopefully. So can you see that in there? It's looking, okay, let me see. All that juice is coming up. Hopefully y'all were able to see that. Sorry, my hands. My phone just flew right off my iPad when I was trying to adjust it there. Oop, nope, nope. I was trying to do something there. Okay. So I'm just pushing it down, packing it down, push and pack, push and pack, push and pack. And if you have a masher at this point, you definitely want to try to use that masher. Some people will say not to use metal. You just don't want to leave it like in there because it does get quite acidic. Let me just move you back a little bit so that you can see my face again somewhat. It does get quite acidic, and it will mess with the metal. Oh, thank you, Mr. John. It will start to eat the minerals off of your metal utensil or bowl or whatever. So you really don't want to leave metal in contact with it for very long, but using a metal masher to mash down your kraut isn't going to hurt anything. So I'm going to just keep going. And then once everything, and you can hear it's good and submerged in there, you can go ahead and you're just going to layer the sheets of cabbage. Whew, that was a workout. You're just going to layer the sheets of cabbage in there to keep all those little bits submerged. And you're going to take your weights 1 and 2 and push down and get everything good and submerged. You can hear it going. You can hear it going. Now, if you blend up your apple with a green apple, an organic green apple with a little bit of water, filtered is best because a lot of the metals in your well water can inhibit the good fermentation process, the good bacteria growth. So you want to be careful about that. So I like to use filtered water when I do this stuff. And at this point is when you would go, well, actually you would add it in just before you put your leaves down because you want the apples to be submerged too. So you put that in, put your cabbage leaves, put your weights so that all the bits are under the weights. And I can see all that juice. Let me see if I can get some of the juice to come up for y'all to see in there. You can see it kind of dripping out at the bottom. I don't know how y'all can see in there, but it's in there. I can see it. Hopefully it's coming across on camera when I show you guys. I'm just gonna keep on getting it. Oh, getting my workout. All right, and that is it. You can take a paper towel and wipe away, just wipe out all those little bits that came up the side that didn't want to go back down for you, because those will mold. You don't want to leave them there and have them mold, because you don't want mold in this. So I'll have to sweep up all those bits later that are falling everywhere. That's fine. And then that's it. You'll put your lid on, your crock lid. Got bits of cabbage that flew everywhere. Whew, I'm out of breath. And that's it. That's it. It just sits on there. Everything's under the juice, and you just let it go. Start testing it in a few days. I hope you guys enjoyed today's segment from Kingdom Acres. I hope you all will go over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel over there. It's Kingdom Acres Homestead with Sandra Waldrop. Hit that subscribe button and the little bell to make sure you're getting the notifications when I upload something new. I upload all of my lives over there, because the ones I do it over here, they're gone after 30 days. Facebook is no longer saving those lives for us. So I upload these over there for you to watch on replay. I hope you all have a blessed day, and thank you for homemaking a homemade home with me today. Love y'all. Bye.